Even as the government has submitted the rankings to the World Bank, we've heard from those who matter, and these are investors from some of the top FMCG and retail conglomerates. What do they make of this report that has been submitted, and what are their picks as far as states that are easy to do business in? Let's listen into their views.
We are certainly seeing a positive move in that respect, both in the center and as far as certain states are concerned. There is certainly a lot of intent and a lot of commitment to improve upon this, and but we must remember that these are changes that will have a far-reaching impact and will also take time to completely be implemented. But we are seeing a positive start, certainly.
In terms of for our business, we don't see any roadblocks or challenges. And it's just that there is a gestation period for opening the stores, which we need to go through.
Certainly in the state of Maharashtra, where we've been working with the government to come up with a retail policy, the response has been extremely positive and in fact extremely proactive. And we have seen the policy now, it's put up in the public domain. And I think it's a very progressive thing that the government has done.
I think the climate today in India is very, very positive. And hence the positivity also goes back to the Adidas group. So we definitely anticipate good times ahead.
Okay, ease of doing business, of course, being one part of doing business here, but also legislation being passed, and we know that the government has allowed the land ordinance to lapse. And in speaking to my colleague Chetan Bhutani, the Commerce Minister.
Welcome back. You're watching Countdown on Bloomberg TV India. Now, ITC has big plans for the dairy segment and plans to launch its dairy brand within this quarter. That's at least a word coming in from Sanjeev Puri, President for FMCG business for ITC. Speaking on the Maggi mess and its fallout on the instant noodle market, Puri clarified that the rigorous tests are carried out on its Yippee noodle brand and most samples have no traces of lead. Listen in.
We have a very robust value chain for production of Yippee, and there's enough care taken in the sourcing of the agri imports, in the manufacturing process. There are a number of places where checks are done. We have over 700 checks that are done on a daily basis. We have state-of-the-art labs which are NABL accredited. Our factories are state-of-the-art, and we ensure that product safety is kind of inbuilt. And we are very confident that our products meet all the requirements. In none of the tests have we found anything that is remotely even deviating from the norms. And we started working on our dairy foray quite some time back because it was important for us to get the back end in place. Because that's also important from a perspective of safety and quality. And our own plant is up in Munger. Commercial production has started, and we should be in the market within this quarter. So not too many weeks to go. Savlon is a brand that enjoys a lot of trust amongst the consumers. I think there is great opportunity first to develop it in the core areas that it operates, which is really the soaps and the hand washes and the sanitizers and the antiseptic liquid. So that's I think the first opportunity which we are focused on. And it's a strong brand that reflects a trust on hygiene. And there are possibilities to extend it into adjacent categories, which over a period of time we will be getting into.
Welcome back. The Indian retail sector seems to be on the cusp of a turnaround after several months of patchy discretionary spending and sluggish sales. Shoppers are returning to stores. Industry players are hopeful that the initial excitement will lead to a smart pickup in sales as the festive season sets in. Priya Sheth has the report.
The Indian FMCG and retail industry may finally be seeing signs of revival, having battled a tough FY15 when growth in the consumer goods market slowed down to just 7.5% from 10.6% in the previous fiscal. The retail sector is now witnessing the first traces of green shoots. The consumer is heading back to the store and the optimism is quite palpable.
Irrespective of the fluctuation, the reported economy, I think consumer sentiment is generally on the up and ever increasing.
Indian retailers are hopeful of consumer spending picking up in the coming months. The expectation is that there will be an increase both in the volume as well as value of sales as the festive season kicks in.
I think we've had a very successful 15th August, the big days as we call it. This whole uptick which has come from the festive, I think that's going to continue, and we believe that right till Diwali this mood should sustain.
Projections about the Indian retail sector's long-term growth are fairly optimistic. A FICCI KPMG report estimates consumer spending in India will grow over 5 times to a whopping 456 lakh crore rupees by 2030. The FMCG sector is projected to grow at a steady 11.5% over the next 4 to 5 years, cashing in on this consumer boom. Retail industry veterans, however, are quick to point out challenges in realizing this potential.
Finding quality real estate space and making sure that we obtain all the licenses, because it takes a while to get the licenses particularly. That is one of the challenges that we normally face. I'm very pleased with the progress that we are making with most of the state governments.
Industry experts say the absence of a clear national retail policy is the biggest challenge for the sector. The onslaught of e-commerce is another strategic change that is forcing retailers to tweak their business models. In Mumbai with Priya Sheth, Kritika Saxena.
Now for a quick check on some of the national... And another exclusive, Walmart has just launched its 21st store in Agra. CNBC TV 18's Priya Sheth caught up with Krish Iyer, the president and CEO of Walmart India, and began by asking him about the company's growth plans.
Cash and carry business in the country, we currently have 21 stores. We just launched our 21st stores in Agra. And we plan to open another 50 stores next 4 to 5 years. I see this space of B2B, particularly where we serve kirana stores, hotels, restaurants, caterers, and offices and institutions, as a market with big potential. Over the next 5 years, the mom and pop segment the world over will grow by about 840 billion. And out of that, 140 billion of growth, dollars of growth will come from India. So this is a good space to be in, and we see quite a high potential here.
And in terms of growth, if you could give us some numbers as to what's the kind of percentage growth that Walmart is targeting, and what's the kind of investment that you would put into growing this business?
You know that as a matter of policy, we really don't talk about numbers, but I'll give you a broad sense of how we plan to grow in this market. So we are planning to focus on a few states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Karnataka.
All right, and with that, we're completely out of time in Business Lunch.